All right, thank you so much. Here, the program still this morning on ITV. Now, there's no game saying that the Edo State election is going to be on the 19th of September 2020. That's about less than 2 months from now, where all of us, most of us all in Edo State will go to the poll to elect our governor. But there are things that we must know. First and foremost, we must understand the basic rudiments of politics, the basic principles of politics. And I remember those days in my elementary class in government in school, whereby we're told that there are 5 basic elements of politics. And of course, we have that all political behavior has a purpose. That is also known as a rationality principle. And I also understand that principle of politics also says that institutions structure politics, which has to do with institution principle. Then all politics is collective action. That's collective action principle, while we also have political outcomes, the products of individual preferences and institutional procedures. That is also known as policy principle. And of course, the last one reads that how we get there matters, which has to do with history principle. So all these are the basic rudiments of politics. So it's very, very expedient and very, very important that we begin to talk about all this so that we further educate our electorate out there, and even for the politicians too. And also those that maybe one thing or the other, they have one thing or the other to do with politics, most especially as we prepare for the Edo 2020. Well, to look at all this today, we're also privileged to have Mr. Emmanuel, Honorable Emmanuel Iyaoyuwa, who is a special advisor with the Edo State government here.
No,
so,
local government
council of Ovia Northeast Local Government Council. So, welcome to this program this morning on ITV. And also, we're expecting Honorable Desmond Ugbo. He called that he will just try to make it. So, when he comes, we're going to make sure that we have him feature on the program today. You're welcome to this program one more time.
Thank you, Mr. Evans.
Yeah, you're welcome. So we're going to be looking at the basic underline of politics, you know, the principles of politics. Now, I just ran through the elementary, principles. And if you break that down, you discover that what all these principles are talking about is that there is a structure that politics must follow. That's just what it's talking about. Just as we have every other activity in our society. Take, for example, as simple as the marketplace. The market has a structure. It has a tenet that it must follow. If you go against that tenet, it shows that you are no more doing market business. Then, of course, you are doing something else. So for politics, there is a structure that politics must follow. But you discover that most recently, we find that politicians, they tend to derail from these principles, from this structure, from these laid down rules and regulations of politics. Now, what do you think is actually responsible for all this?
To start with, Mr. Evans, I think I want to put all that you have mentioned under this principle, under the fact that all the stakeholders in the political arena are affected.
Okay.
And I don't believe any Edo man or Edo woman will want to consult the Webster Dictionary or Longman or the Oxford Dictionary before he or she is able to know exactly what the principles of politics are. Because as God will have it, God has been very merciful to us in this Fourth Republic. We've never had any truncated administration. It has been successive administration to another. So elections have been held. And administrations have handed over to administrations. And these elections that have been held, people have taken part in the election. So the principles is very much like the law or rules of the game of politics. And every of these stakeholders are aware. I want to believe that they are all aware. For example, INEC, which is the umpire of any election, knows the rules that should be put in place for the INEC to be able to conduct free, fair, credible, and acceptable election. That's a principle. The law enforcement agencies, they know that during the election, they're not supposed to carry arms. They are not even supposed to lead whatever caliber of person in the society to the polling unit. That's a principle. the National Orientation Agency, they are saddled with the responsibility of letting our people know their rights during elections, what they are supposed to do, the do's and don'ts. That is a policy. The stakeholders, these political actors, the politicians and their political parties, they know what to say that will not hit up the policy. They know exactly what they are supposed to put forward before the electorate that will buy their conscience and say, oh yes, this party has a very good manifesto, we will embrace it. So those ingredients that they can put forward, it's already a principle on the part of the party. It's like a belief, it's like a rule that we should be able to put forward for the people to see, yes, you are serious or not serious. The electorates, they know that on the day of election, you are supposed to go to the polling unit. You cannot put on a face cap. You are not supposed to put on a
branded face cap.
It's branded face cap.
Yeah.
You are not supposed to put on a branded T-shirt of any political party, like the symbols of maybe APC broom, PDP umbrella. You are not supposed to do that. You are supposed to go to the polling unit quietly, get accredited, vote, and stay some meters close to the polling unit so that you can be able to protect your vote. These are just the principles we are talking about in politics. Mm. So by the time all put together, like as I have initiated, and everybody now knows his or her role to play, I don't believe there will be any party during elections.
Yeah, beautiful. But what we are looking at is that very recently we find out that politicians tend to derail, from these principles that you just enumerated. Now, what do you think is responsible for it? Is it because we have characters who are not politically enlightened, politically educated enough that go into politics, or the fact that the system somehow just let it be that way?
Well, if we want to look at this question you have asked, I think we see it from different angles. Mm. First, experience counts a lot.
Of course, when I say derail, I think I should expatiate it more. Okay. Now, you discover that the kind of campaigns you even hear recently, you have politicians that are supposed to speak to the issue. They tend to personalize, their political campaigns. That is not part of the political principles that we just enumerated.
No.
So, what do you think is responsible for all that?
Well, you see, the system itself has been bastardized. I must be very frank. Bastardized in the sense that people that are coming into politics today, they are of different characters. Politics, as it were, supposed to be those with intelligence, those that have things to bring out, those that have what it takes to present the dividends of democracy to the people. Because governance is about the people. But these days, you begin to see that people want to get into power by hook or crook. That is why you see monetary area of it has come to play. Whether you are an armed robber or you wear an armed robber, as the case may be, or maybe a tout, either on the street, by the time somebody, maybe a politician, a big politician, has see that, oh, this man is possible. It is possible to use him to get this. They call you, bring you in, entice you with some monetary gratification, and say, go like this. And that person has been given a directive. He has been sent on a message. I will definitely go and deliver it. That is not what it's supposed to be. And that person that you have asked to go to a place, you know already what that person is up to. He will definitely go there and do what he knows best. An armed robber eats and dies with a gun. Not with a broom, not with a cane. And if you ask an armed robber to go for a message politically, you should know exactly what the first thing to take is not a biro. It is the gun. All
right, so what you are saying is that the reason why we tend to have this kind of character coming into politics is because we now have desirous
people want to get to power by hook or crook. That was the way I started.
All right, so
the best way to get into power now is to bring all these elements that can be able to hijack the public, hijack the system to make sure it works for them.
Now,
And that is not what it's supposed to be.
Now, what do you think is going to be the implication of this kind of scenario?
It's massive. It's massive. And in fact, every Nigerian today, we have learned from history. If not our own country, we've learned history of other countries. That whatever it takes, a political opera, you don't get anything good from it. It's a retrogression. It's a retrogression. So, for now, and from the experience that Nigerians have been able to go through in politics, it is better to put the best to bear. Things that can survive us. Things that can make this nation grow as really giant of Africa.
Okay. Now, would you agree that the problem seems not to lie only with the politicians alone? Because you talked about, you said INEC has a role, which shows that they have a political principle.
Yes.
That they also play.
Of course.
The electorate has a role, which shows that they have a political principle
Yes.
that they should play.
Yes.
Now, let's begin to talk in this respect, so that it will not just look as if we are blaming the politicians all alone. So how do we begin to talk to all these other agents, all these other parts and parcels?
Now, let me elucidate further.
Yeah.
When I mentioned INEC, like the forthcoming gubernatorial election
in Edo State,
that INEC has scheduled for the 19th of September,
certainly,
2020, which is about less than 2 months away.
Yeah.
INEC should be in position to put all the necessary things in place now. There should be no excuse because they've had enough time. They must be prepared to make sure that all the materials, all the necessary materials get to the booth very early. No excuse of any material getting to the polling unit late. And make sure that these materials are well guided. They should not toy with the materials because these are lives of Nigerians. They must be very prepared to see that they guide those materials to the polling unit and begin to guide them even at the polling unit. That's before and during the election now, and should be able to guide the results after the elections. And make sure that it is the best that we Edo people should see and nothing less. That is for INEC.
Okay.
Then the law enforcement agencies, which encompasses all the law enforcement agencies like police, you have the army, the navy, civil defense corps, and even road safety corps. They are all security agencies. So they also should brace up now and be very ready for that task ahead. It's already a task before all of them. They should be able to save the life of all the electors that are coming. They must be prepared to save their lives before the elections, during the elections, and after the elections.
All right. The first principle I talked about a while ago, says that all political behavior has a purpose. That is the rational principle. Yes. Now, you discover that that underscores the underlying behavior that you begin to see with XYZ political party. Now, take for example parties that are alleged against that they go around to destroy other materials, campaign materials that belong to other political party. Now, it underscores that probably is their own political behavior. Now, what do you think is the purpose of this kind of principle?
In any case, you see, when an election period comes like this, you are bound to hear so many insinuations. Rightly,
so many allegations.
Allegations and insinuations.
Yeah.
Rightly or wrongly. And it's already a tenet in the political setting that when a time like this comes, a political party will want to...
Political opponents.
No, I mean a particular political party may want to run down the order in order to get the sympathy of the public or the electorate, as the case may be. So it is. I want to say that it is not all these allegations that are correct. I must be very frank with you. I'm with the system. Many of them may be correct, may not be correct, because you don't expect. For example, I had the news that the governor is now using his people to go and remove.
No, we don't need to mention names now because these are allegations.
I'm coming, sir. I know what I'm talking about. This is already on the public.
Yeah, but we are just talking.
It's already in public.
No,
I'm taking my points one after the other.
Okay.
In order to buttress my claim, I said it is possible that allegations, whether rightly or wrongly, can be made now against opponents, political opponents, to get the sympathy of the electorates. So that one party is removing posters, let me use that word now, that the other party mounted here and there. I don't believe it is proper for any political party, you in the race, you go and remove the poster of someone else, see, you know, extraying what the public should see that he will be able to do when he gets to that office. Because it is only by the poster that even the downtrodden, the people on the street can be able to read and assimilate that, oh, this party, oh, okay, oh, this is what they are going to do. This one. So from there they can deduce and conclude that this political party has what it takes to guide the state. Okay. This one does not have what it takes to guide the state. So the idea of going around to remove posters, it shouldn't be part of this system, because we have grown beyond that. We are too matured for it. The Fourth Republic is about 21, 22 years old. 21, 22 years old. So a child of 21 cannot say he or she doesn't know what it is to remove a poster of an opponent. You are heightening the political tension, because the person that you have done to remove the poster will not look you with good eye. It's like you are inviting trouble. And by the time the person wants to pay back an eye for an eye, you know what it is. So I want to advise that this should not be the type of politics we should experience in Edo State, particularly at this moment. Okay.
Now, we'll just quickly take a short pause now so that we take a break. We still have Honorable Yao Yuwa here, Emmanuel Yao Yuwa, coming all the way from Ovia Northeast, a special advisor to the Ovia Northeast Local Government Council. So we'll take a short pause now, and when we return on the other side, we'll talk more and we'll draw our conclusions. Please stay tuned. All right, thank you so much here. The program still this morning on ITV, and we still have Honorable Emmanuel Yao Yuwa here looking at the principles of politics as we make preparations for Edo 2020. So you're welcome one more time.
Thank you very
now,
much.
as we make conclusions to leave this topic for today, now we've talked about underlining factor that give rise to political parties, the way they behave, their manifesto and all that. So how can we begin to enshrine these principles in the daily activities of politicians, most especially as it relates to Edo 2020, so that they can begin to know that, look, these are things that we should do and these are things that we should not do, so that come 2020, come September, we should have a viral election?
I think the agencies that are saddled with the responsibility of carrying out what you have just said is no other than the INEC and the National Orientation Agency. The INEC, as far as they are prepared to hold this election, they must be prepared to see that the exercise is not truncated by the activities of politicians in any guise. And the National Orientation Agency, they have a vital role to play. They should be going around, because for some time I've not been seeing them moving around. That agency is set up particularly for the purpose of sensitizing the people on what they are supposed to do during, before, during, and after election exercises. But I've not been seeing them all around. I must be very frank. And they are saddled with the responsibility of coming out, go to hinterlands, tell the people, please, all you are expected to do on election day, leave your house as early as possible, be on the line, especially with this COVID-19 issue around. You have you must have that spacing. Then stand quietly. If it gets to your turn, present your card. You are accredited, vote. Then stay a little away from the booth, so as to be able to protect your vote. Because many of our people, what they just do is, most of these days that are fixed by INEC, in the people in the hinterland, those in the villages, they don't even know whether election will be held on that day. Their concern is they go to the farm because that is where they get their daily living. So it is the right of National Orientation Agency to go around all the villages, tell them, please, on that day, don't go to farm. And even if you go to come early, at least before 7, so that the election will be held early and rounded up early, so that those materials can be guided to the collation centers.
Okay. Now, what about the politicians on election day?
Well, on the politician side, my good brother, it's like someone, you have invested money on an enterprise. You will not want it to fail. You must guide it. All the rudiments that will make you to get your money back with 100 votes is what you are going to be planning for. So, and all the political parties, the politicians, they are stakeholders in this system. APC will not want the election to be truncated. PDP will not want it. Other political parties will not want it. Because what they want is, I want to be the governor of this state, Ife, from the 19th of September. That will be the talk of APC, talk of PDP, and all other political parties. So, having invested so much on this exercise, I don't believe any of them want to indulge in any exercise that will truncate the system. Okay. So, but it's my advice, therefore, that for the maturity we have been able to have all this while, particularly in this Fourth Republic, it is not right of us to go out there on that day and begin to foment trouble. Ballot, those ones are not in fashion again. Ballot snatching, rigging, and all those things. No, well, we should be Nigerians. Nigerians are known for good. We should begin to behave as Edolites. We have a bit adage, Edoni Hasese. You find good things here and not the bad ones. So our royal father has been able to safeguard that as much as possible, and we should be able to follow his suit. We don't want trouble here. There have been relative peace in Edo State all this while. Like the killings you are hearing in other places, it doesn't happen in Edo State. There are skirmishes of maybe armed robbery, kidnapping, but in other places like Kaduna of the latest, you know how many people that were killed there. Yeah. It doesn't happen in Edo State. So we should sustain that temple in Edo State during the election. Okay,
I really want to say a very big thank you for coming to this program today and also speaking eloquently, looking at the principles of politics, politics as we make preparation for the Edo 2020 election. Honorable, thank you so much for joining us.
Now, Mr. Evans.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Very much.
Now, for viewers out there, I decided to get this handy. It just fell off. Well, I thought I'd be able to show it to you. Talking about the voters card. Next week, I should be able to get you to see it so that you should get it ready, and make sure that it's a live stage. So he just helped me to pick it. Thank you so much. Now, this is the voters card that you actually need for the Edo 2020 election. This is my own. I always get it ready. I did it last 4 years. Towards the election, I had to get it ready. So if you've not found your own, you still have between now and say the end of throughout the month of July to look for it and make sure that you keep it very, very handy. Let it be with you, because come on the 19th of September, you cannot vote with it. It's my personal property. It's Evans Nusaka Unokoge with my date of birth, occupation, and of course all the security features. My address is all intact. I hope you have yours.
Very much.
All right. So this is what you need for you to vote on the 19th of September 2020. 2020. Well, a very big thank you one more time, and also to my crew members for on this program today. My name is Evans Nokoge. Tomorrow, Oye Agbonfugbe is going to be here on the same program. Bye-bye, and God bless you.